So here I am in the beautiful Newburyport Cemetery. There's a jogger going by. Just let them go on past. But here I am, the beautiful Newburyport Cemetery, to tell you guys about the Legend of Bagger Vance. This is a book I'm reading, or listening to again. I listened to it already, but listening to it again, it's about golf. And I really don't like the game of golf. I mean, I kind of starting to appreciate it now that I've listened to the book a few times. It's a really good book, and it really extols golf as something really spectacular. But I'm not the fan of golf. You know, it's not my true swing, as we'll get into. My true swing is more grappling, fighting, throwing people oriented. But other people like golf, and it's really, but the thing about it though, enough rambling, is the true swing. So the whole time, Juna is trying to hit his swing. He's trying to beat these two great golfers, Sir Walter Hagen and Bobby Jones, in golf. And to do so, he needs to find his true swing. And the true swing, the authentic swing, is the idea that when a boy first swings a club, and then the later trained golfer, the first swing, his very first swing, and his later trained swing are almost identical, because his true swing lies within him already. It's not a matter of cultivating it, it's a matter of uncovering it, like uncovering a statue from stone. And you have to like do the true swing. And basically the whole thing is like, he doesn't care. Bagger Vance, who's the manifestation of Krishna, doesn't care if Juna wins or loses the game, as long as he does his true swing, the swing that has always been his, that's authentically his, that is his and no one else's. And I just think about that with regards to like this idea in Way of the Superior Man of like, a woman will not really respond to you. Like, your woman, any woman really, will not really respond to you. People too, but women especially, because women are very in tune, will not really respond to you unless you're being authentic. Like, people can sense inauthenticity, or at least they don't respond to it, but they respond immediately to authenticity. And I thought about lately my successes and stuff in business and my failures in business, and how I feel like the whole world is pushing me to make this course in many ways. Like, when I go to work on my ads for my home services company, I stop sleeping. And I feel like this course, the insomnia course, helping people with insomnia by sharing how I figured out how to sleep, is my authentic swing. It's like the thing that only I can do, or it's the thing that I'm meant to do. It's my authentic swing. It's the one thing that's authentically what I'm supposed to be doing. And I feel inauthentic when I'm doing anything else. When I'm working on any other project, it's not authentic because it's not really me. It's some contrived idea. But when I work on health, fitness, high performance, helping people with insomnia, it feels like it's coming right out of my heart. And it's interesting. It's an interesting feeling. I hope that in the same way that women and people receive the authentic expression of ourselves, that this truly authentic thing from me, this thing that I've labored and suffered so much to bring forth, will be received by the world. I know it will, because I know it's needed, and I know that I'm the only one who can bring it forth, because I looked and there was no one else who had the information to help me. And then I've just talked to so many people who also can't find the information but through me. So I know that I am the only source of the information on the insomnia front, and I know that I have to bring that information forth to the world. And to do so authentically, to do so by just sharing what is within me. It's interesting, like, more on this authentic swing thing. Like, I was trying to write down the frameworks for how to really fix insomnia, and what was sticking me was, it was this, like, the effort. I was thinking about it too much. It was something I was like trying. I'm putting in effort, and it's like this clenching, when I just have to be like the reed, be like the flute that the air passes through and makes the music. I'm really just the flute, and the wind is just the forces that are blowing. And I just let it come out of me. I just sat down today and I literally just wrote down the frameworks. I just had a moment of clarity where I was like, well, it's not like, just write it, you know, just write it. I just wrote it, and it was good, and it was like what it needed to be, but it was so hard at other points in time to write it because it's so close. It's like not being able to see the forest for all the trees. Like I can't put what I know into words because it's just my being in some sense. Like it's become how I think. It's like try to tell someone how to walk. Really try to like tell someone how to walk. You're like, what? Like it, like, you know what I mean? You're like, well, where do I just kind of do it? Or like, how do you move your arm? You just do it. Like, that's the level at which this information's become implicit within me. I'm just like, well, it's just, and then, like trying to explain a dream, or like in Stranger in a Strange Land, when Valentine Michael Smith is like, I have not words, Jubal. He's like, wait, it's just simple. But then it came to me simply because it is simple. I just wrote down what it is, and then it just filled itself out. But it took a getting out of my own way. It took like listening to that book, Legend of Bagger Vance, and thinking about my authentic swing, and like it came to me, the authentic swing came to me. I wrote it all down, and it was all there. And it's cool. Like it's cool. Like I realized too, like I'm not even making the course really. Like I'm not bringing forth this information to the world. I'm not helping the world fix insomnia. It's happening through me. I am simply the focal point at which the collective unconsciousness is having the realization that this is what it needs to do to stop having sleep problems. In the same way that the artist who writes a story, who writes a movie, who does any of these things, he's not thinking that up. It's coming out of the collective unconscious. He's just the dreamer. He's just having that particular dream of the collective unconscious. I'm just the dreamer having the particular dream that is the solutions that I'm bringing forth. I mean, like, this information is information that I gathered by doing all my research and stuff, but like, I didn't do the research that I studied to figure this out. I studied the research that I studied. So it was all out there. It was all the information was out there within the collective unconscious, but I had the dream. I had the vision that was the solution to this particular problem. And all I need to do to manifest that vision is just get out of the way, let it happen. It's just the dream's happening through me. I just need to let it happen. I really do. It's really, really like the insomnia problem wanted to be solved. It wanted to be solved. And I'm just the point at which that's happening in some sense. Like, I watch like these movies, and I'm like, these movies play in these like deep cultural themes. Like I watch like Moana and like Frozen. Like, you really watch those movies, it's very interesting, like the themes they're pulling on from the collective unconscious. And I watch those movies, I see those themes, I'm like, in other movies like Legend of Bagger Vance, like that book, I'm like, where does that come from? And then like His Dark Materials and like Harry Potter, and like how these brilliant, beautiful visions come into the world with such clarity and beauty and vision and brilliance within every word and sentence. How did he make that? He didn't. He was the fluid it came through, but it came from the brilliance of the collective unconscious that we're all plugged into. In the same way, like those brilliant periods of time when I've been wrestling, and it hasn't been me wrestling, I just stepped aside and let it come through me. I can't do that. like this points in time, like literally, like one of my matches, all states, it was like my second to last match. I'd just been robbed in my first match by the referee. Gave the other guy 2 points for a takedown for getting in a front headlock. I front headlocked the guy, and they gave him 2 points for taking me down last second. Fucking wonder how much money his coach gave that ref. But whatever, I was really angry. I focused this anger into this white hot fury, and I let it completely pass over me and through me. And my match against John Sticks, my second match at All States, I threw him straight to his back. It was a 43-second pin. This guy was an amazing wrestler, brilliant wrestler, one of the best wrestlers in the state. And I pinned him in 43 seconds with a fireman's carry. The very second he was slightly off balance. I didn't do that. I just got out of the way and allowed the brilliance of the world, allowed the collective unconscious of 10,000 years of my grandfathers and ancestors wrestling come through me, and my coaches, like in their wrestling coach, I let all that brilliance come through me for a second. That brilliance wasn't even conscious. That's information I gathered implicitly through my nervous system, wrestling and grappling other people. all that information is collected in me, all the information, all the stepping over stones, the little bits of balance and learning of knowledge that I gained there, and learning of movement, all that, I didn't distill it. It just came through me in a moment of focused clarity. So all I had to do to make the course, and all I had to do to make any of this, is step aside and let it come through me. I mean, even to fix my insomnia, I just let my survival instinct take over. I let my will to survive take over, and I figured out how to solve it the same way you figure out how to kill an enemy on a battlefield. It's the same thing. I conceptualized it as the enemy, and then I killed it with whatever tools I learned could hurt that enemy. And I empowered myself to whatever tools I learned could empower me. And it's the same thing. It's just let the wisdom within you take over. Nietzsche says this. I think this is what Nietzsche's getting at. Even the authentic swing and Nietzsche's getting at when he talks about there being more wisdom in the body than in the deepest philosophy of a man. For the mind thinks it is superior, for it thinks I. But the body is superior, for it does I. It does the being that the mind merely thinks. And within that body, within the neurons, beneath the neck, in that unconscious place, is all the wisdom that is us. This is merely the monitor that observes the wisdom beneath the shoulders and makes it articulate. For everything we do with our body. And even action, even like think, is to imagine what you would do with your body. That's thinking, really. You can't have unembodied intelligence. I don't know. Being real on the internet, being too real. It's really hard to be real, to be this real about something this close, to try to help people with that. But I feel like it's the reason I'm here. Like, I just feel like it's the reason I'm here. Like, I ask myself, I say, like, if I were to die tomorrow, what would be the thing that humanity would lose? It would lose how to fix insomnia. So the number one thing I can do that's meaningful is to give that to the world. I almost think like, I was listening to Bagger Vance, and I was thinking about like the idea of like the nature of God and how the nature of God shames us in some sense. Like in some sense, like when we're asking God, like if I'm asking God, I'm saying, God, like why, like if I were to complain to God about my life, which I do a lot, actually, he responds usually by informing me in my mind of things I'm either taking for granted or whatever. It's a good thing, you know what I mean? It's honest. I'm like, hey, God, this is bothering me, and chimes in and helps me out with it. But let's say I'm complaining to God about my life. Let's just say I'm complaining to God about the insomnia I had. I'm complaining to him about that. And I'm like, God, why do I have insomnia? Why do I have this? Like, why am I allowing this? Like, why did you allow this to happen to me? And in some sense, it's like, I wonder if God looks at us and he thinks like, you can defeat these burdens I've placed on you. These burdens the insomnia he gave me is going to be the means by which I bless the world now. So who am I? Like, when I'm like, how could I like suffer in that way? It's like that thought isn't worthy of the nature of God, because the nature of God is to transform the most powerful suffering into the most powerful blessing and love. So when I'm being blessed with suffering, why am I not turning that into a blessing of love by my creative power? When I sit down and I sit in boredom and I ask God, like, what do I do? Like, I feel like he looks at me and he's like, what do you mean? What do you do? Like, look in your heart. Look at like what makes you sad. Look at what makes you happy. Look at what makes you angry. Look at what makes you cry. Do that. Let that guide you. Let that guide you as much as you possibly can. and then dare to ask me that question. And I just feel like if I do that, if I do that authentic swing, then like, what would there be for me to complain about? Like, what could there be in the world that could be a problem to me? I feel like the world itself would just step aside and let me manifest the glory of God. I feel like that's what the whole world is waiting for us to do. I feel like that's what God's waiting for us to do. Just step aside and literally step out of your own way and just manifest the glory within you. Like, I know people who have attempted suicide. Like, get on YouTube and like tell people why you're alive. You have pain. That pain is a gift you can give to the world. And maybe if you gave that gift to the world, maybe the pain would go away. Maybe the pain wouldn't be there. Maybe you'd feel blessed. Maybe you'd feel happy. That's what I'm kind of starting to find by doing this, by getting out of my own way, by talking about the things that hurt and that are painful. And just by moving in this direction. I don't know what it's going to bring. I don't know that like I'm going to succeed, whatever that means. But I know I'm doing my best to help people in the best possible way I can. And that this is everything I could give. If I died in the giving of this to the world, it would be worth it. I think it's my authentic swing. Done. Tune in tomorrow. Subscribe for more. Turn on notifications.